Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm coming to you from a little camper mobile home, and I've just spent a week with my kids and my hubby and some family friends for our Easter break away in Dorset, and it's been so wonderful. And I wanted to potentially, I was thinking that maybe I could try and film a video while I'm away, and that did not happen. It was really wet a lot, but also we were busy with the kids sort of every day doing activities and things, and so I didn't get a chance to do that. But I do have some things to share with you, some things I've picked up, and I also wanted to share with you my travel altar. So while I'm here, I'll just do a quick whip round. You can see like the state of the room is like a little bit messy right now because I'm packing up and everything, but I am going to share some of the things that I picked up a little bit later when I get home because we're leaving today, and I'm also going to go through my travel altar with you as well so you can see that, and just talk to you a little bit about the fun that we've been having during this Easter break. So get yourself a nice hot drink, settle back, relax and enjoy. So I'm now back from my trip, and it's actually a few days later because it was kind of chaotic when we arrived home. It was a shame I wasn't able to actually find time to film while I was at the campsite, but we were busy all the time with the kids. So the truth is that I packed a travel altar, but I didn't actually end up using it. And I'm going to share today what I packed in my travel altar, and I'm also going to chat about some other things, some books that I took with me, some decks that I took with me and used while I was away, as well as some pieces that I ended up picking up, which I was absolutely thrilled about. Found some magical things, kind of spring vibes with the theme I guess we're going with today. So first of all, I will say that in the past I have used, when we moved house, I used a big Net-a-Porter box, or not massive, but sort of roughly like quite a chunk, but it was a cardboard box. And I have also used this as a travel altar. A little clue about what's happening later. I didn't this time, but I did use this to put a pouch of my jewellery. I did actually take this with me this time. But there is another tin that I use, and that is this one. And this was gifted to me by Manuela from Place of Stillness. Manuela is a friend of mine and is an excellent astrologer and tarot reader, spiritual, magical person who I love chatting to and spending time with. And Manuela was kind enough to gift me a bunch of goodies when I moved into this house, and this was one of the things that some of the items came in, and it's just a lovely vintage tin, so it makes a really nice little travel altar. Sometimes I utilize it for storing beeswax actually. Obviously I took those out in order to use that this time, but while I was away I did go into the works and I picked up this trunk. So it's a wooden chest amethyst, and I think what I'm going to do is turn this one into a little travel altar. I also would like to do another one for Lilith as well, so like deck out the inside, and I've seen other creators do this kind of crafting projects. I probably won't be documented online, but I will share it once I'm done. But this is a kind of ongoing thing. I don't need it straight away, it's just a fun thing, and you can see only £3 at the Works, and I'm sure if you live in England you will know the wonders of the Works occasionally. So but you can, I'm sure, get your hands on something like this from Hobbycraft or wherever your crafting shops. I'm excited to create my own. So, but in the meantime, I do have a few boxes, and especially my favourite, this little tin here. So I'm going to start by getting into the contents of the tin, and I will detail as well some of the jewellery that I also brought with me in the white box afterwards, because I do like to obviously imbue energy and intentions into my jewellery, and I have some pieces for honouring the Morrigan, I have some pieces for honouring Lilith, and generally just some protective items that I like to wear, and also some of them double for magic because they might have crystals within. So that's really a great space saving hack. If you can wear your magical items, that's a winner. So I'll get into those in a bit. So it was packed really nicely, but I did undo it, so it's not quite so nicely packed now. So I have a little pouch here, and within the little pouch I packed some extra items of jewellery that I didn't actually wear, but I did place out. So this was just an amethyst pendulum that I took with me. So I do wear this as a necklace, but I also like to utilise it as a pendulum, as you can see, and it's beautiful. It's on sterling silver, and this is just the way I like to have my pendulums. So I love this, and obviously having amethyst is great for all kinds of intentions and things you want to work on. Then I packed this, which is a piece from Ana Luisa, which I still have my links below if you want to get a discount, etc. This is a piece that I wear for Lilith, and I absolutely adore this piece. And then I also have a piece that I picked up from Amsterdam, silver pentacle with a moonstone, and there's a serpent. So again, I imbued this for Lilith. So these pieces were for honouring Lilith, and if I wanted to cast any spells or utilise a pendulum for any divination work, which I didn't while I was away, so that's fine. I didn't anticipate I would be having any time, which I didn't. And then additional pieces that I was wearing, I pretty much wore this one all through the holiday, which is amber, and I wear this for honouring Freyja, who I don't work with, but who I did have a sort of brief flirtation with a number of years ago. You know, it's just an honouring piece, but it's for beauty and for love and for strength. I think it's a beautiful piece, and I just love amber, so I wear that. This is a piece for love and protection and for sending out beautiful intentions. It's ruby and fuchsite. And I have a Larima piece here that I picked up after I had a dream about being gifted a Larima bracelet, actually. But I picked up this ring because I thought it was beautiful, and I couldn't find a bracelet that sort of seemed similar, whereas this, it kind of reminded me of the bracelet, but obviously in a ring form. This is another piece from Ana Luisa, which you will have seen on my channel if you've seen any of those jewellery charming videos or the glamour magic video. This is my wedding ring and my engagement ring, so just diamonds. And this is a piece from Carrie Elizabeth, as well as this piece is also Carrie Elizabeth. And then this piece was such a find. It's just a tiny little bracelet, and it was handmade by some of the kids at my kids' school. And it's an evil eye piece, of course, on this lovely thread little bracelet. I did have an evil eye ring, but it vanished a few years ago and I never replaced it, and I wanted to. I've been on the lookout for something nice that spoke to me, and this one, I just loved it. And it was like £1.50. They do this thing at the school where they create businesses and they kind of sell products and stuff. It's really, really good. So this rose quartz, obviously, but it's a gua sha. So it doubles as, you know, skincare. I didn't use this, but I can obviously utilize this as a piece of rose quartz. I took this out. This is one of my selenite ones. I have quite a lot around the house. I did actually cleanse myself quite a lot with this on the first evening because I didn't particularly want to use any incense, although I did take some incense with me, but I didn't utilize any of it. So I sort of ran this over me as if it was like, you know, one of those debobblers. I sort of like did that over myself until I felt cleansed from head to toe. So that really worked a treat. This is a little vial of sea salt, just from the kitchen, the nice Cornish sea salt, and I figured this is for protection, of course, but also in case I need to do anything while I'm away, it's there. This is one of the beautiful hagstones that I have collected over the years, which I love. So a couple of tiny little beeswax candles that are perfect for this kind of travel altar situation, and that will probably stay in there. And then as a candle holder, I made this. I made a number of these for a ritual. So I think I've got 12 of these ones. So that just fits in like that, and you have your little candle. So you can create a little setup for yourself fairly easily. This is a spell pouch that I created for myself years and years ago, and it has a number of intentions, and it's basically about stepping into my own authority and being able to stand in integrity as myself. So it's got some pieces that are memories for me, some pieces that mean a lot. There's actually a bracelet in there that I was gifted. This was one of my grandmother's pieces, some crystals and a seashell with intentions in it, a piece of amethyst there, an acorn. There's a lot of personal things in here, and occasionally I will charge this, but it generally stays out on one of my altar spaces. It's a spell from a long time ago. Tea light, just in case. Twine, because you never know when you might need twine. Rose, because rose is one of my plant allies, and I work with rose for love, self-love, on my council, as it were. This is just a rose from a really long time ago that I dried, and I keep on one of my altar spaces. I have a few of them knocking around. I like to have this with me for beauty and for self-love and glamour and joy and all of the things that correspond to rose, but also for fierce protection, because it is a fierce protector. Especially like I do like to petition the leaves in spellwork, not from this rose, but I do have a pot of rose leaves that I have gathered from my own roses that I do keep, and I utilise those specifically for that. A lovely pine cone. Seashell, this is for healing. It actually has intentions. It was utilised in a number of spells, and I carry it with me for that. This is a protection bundle that I worked on with Lilith, and it gets anointed. Mala beads. That also does work as a pendulum if you need. Crow feather for the Morrigan, and to act as a protective element. And a mirror, just in case I need to perform any kind of quick anything, a return to sender or anything like that. So this is kind of the basics. I didn't include many herbs or anything in this, but I did know that I had things like black pepper that we were taking with us. I had, you know, some olive oil in the kitchen if I needed it to anoint a candle. I also had some mixed herbs, as well as some spices and some tea herbs that I am using for tea blends at the moment. We cooked when we were away, so I had things that I also could tap into that we were taking with us. I'm probably not going to pack this up correctly now, am I? I'm probably going to take a few items out and keep some items within, so I'll just sort that now, because I might as well. I think I'll really take this out because I like to have these out. It can be useful, and that's beautiful. Keep that in there. And take my rose out. I'll leave the mirror there. I have a number of those mirrors knocking around as well, so I'll put that in there as well. The rest of the things I'll keep out because I will redistribute them, and I'll keep this little pouch in there as well so that I can put any pieces of jewellery or anything I'm carrying with me at any one time. That was a really nice little setup. And the last time I really utilised a proper travel altar would have been when I moved house, and that had a lot more in it. And I think that you can put everything in it but the kitchen sink, really. Like, there's so much that you can go ahead and put. And it's a cheat, really, because I also, in another bag, included a packet of incense and one of these, not this one because this one was here, but another one from another room I just put into a bag. So it was just a nice packet of organic incense, probably a sandalwood. That was the travel altar, and that's going to go back in the drawer for now. And I'm just going to share with you a few bits that I took with me as well. So a deck I do like to take with me because it travels really well is just my old Rider-Waite-Smith. This is the same one that I had when I was first coming into tarot, so it's the really yellow one, the original pack. I think it reads perfectly and it travels really nicely. I'm not bothered if anything happens to it because I can replace it easily. And I've just got this nice bag as well. I utilised this for reading for one of my friends while I was away. I took with me as well the Ritual Tarot, which I didn't use while I was away, but I have absolutely loved, and I believe I shared this on my favourite decks from 2022. So this came at the end of 2022 and I loved it, and I used this deck for my year ahead reading, which has been interesting to say the least because I've had some developments in the last few months, so I'm keeping an eye on that. So if you want to see some of the cards, then do click over to my other video because I'll share cards in that. A favourite, the Lilith Tarot. Again, this is one from last year, so if you want to see this, do click over. This is a beautiful deck that I work alongside Lilith with. Did pull a few cards from this deck while I was away. I also brought with me my own deck for the Morrigan, and I changed the bag it was in because the bag it was in didn't really fit. Again, I shared this in my other video as well, so it's just a deck that I created for myself and years ago when I first started working with the Morrigan, because I wanted to have a way to connect to the Morrigan that was personal, and it was all quite an organic downloaded process. Again, I share some of the cards from this deck in my decks of 2020. Did I say 2022 before? In my decks of 2023 video. There's a theme here because this was also included in the 2023 decks video, and this is a favourite. I also use this. I'm finding myself reaching for this so much at the moment. It's an oracle and a tarot in itself, and it's just so amazing. It's perfect. I love it. Additionally, I brought my Manara tarot just in case any of my friends wanted a sexy reading, but I didn't end up utilising this. I have shared this in a number of videos before. It's got kind of naughty visuals, so just be warned about that ahead of time. So it's one of these sexy decks. Yeah, I'm not sure how much really you can share. It's the art of Melo Manora, the erotic tarot. I really like it. I use this a lot for myself. I did edge it. But this is a deck that I would really love to use when I do offer readings, which I actually am offering readings now, but I've not shouted it out, but I am making readings available. So if anyone does want a reading, you can contact me via email, and my email is in the link tree, in my bio and down below, so you can email me and get in touch and if you want a reading. And I plan to be offering kind of raunchy, I should just say sex readings, you know, love and sex readings, if that is of interest. General readings as well, of course. And on the same note, another deck that I brought with me is a new deck that to me that I picked up and I could not resist. I absolutely love with Gabrielle Herstick's writing. I've read a few of her books and I love them. I love. This deck is incredible. The guidebook's really good as well from what I've read. I've seen so many people walk through this deck though, so you know, I'm not going to labour too long. Probably some things will be upside down, but it's a really, really beautiful illustrated deck. I'll just do this. It actually pairs really beautifully with the Ritual Tarot. Just going to be careful with my candle there. So you can see I love that card. I'm obsessed. Yeah, this is just such a good deck. I mean, it really speaks. I mean, I don't know it as well as I would like. I've only got it in the last few months, so I need to work more with it. It's definitely speaking to the heart of the matter. I feel like I need to get to know it a bit more, but I've been reaching for it a lot with love and sex readings actually, and also I've reached for it for friendship readings, which might sound a bit odd, but it works. It has given me the information I needed to know, and I think that that is relevant. It's the Goddess of Love Tarot, erotic, divine, feminine. Yes, I think you can lean into it for supporting with other types of love readings as well. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, then that's okay as well, but I have utilised it for that because it felt appropriate, and it definitely was. Love, love, love this deck. Beautiful. And additionally, I was kindly sent this deck from Hay House, which I have been so obsessed with for a while, and I pulled this card while I was away, the Cordyceps, which is a revival, which is something I definitely very much need, and I'm also leaning into Cordyceps for healing, because when I looked in the book it can heal pain, so actually looking into that, and obviously with the energies there of Mercury and Jupiter and Mars and the hawk, really, really beautiful. And of course in the guidebook you've got loads to go on there, so they've got really beautiful backs. I keep meaning to do like an Instagram reel to share some of this because it's gorgeous. It's like the illustrations are really, really sweet. They're by Josephine Clerks. It's just got a number of beautiful herbs and lovely illustrations, and they correspond to astrology and herbalism, which are two things that I am very heavily interested in, of course. I feel like I'm not speaking very well today, so yeah, I'm just umming a lot and kind of tripping over my words, but yeah, this is Adriana Ayala's. Some of the plants are not very easily available to me, but some of them are. I have loved this, and I'm still getting to know it, but yeah, thank you to Hay House for sending this to me because it's a beautiful, beautiful deck, which I really have enjoyed. And I also took some books with me, and this was one of the books that I took, but I didn't get to it because I'm currently reading a couple of other books. But this is a new book that was just sent to me last week, and it's Rest is Resistance by Trisha Percy, and this was sent to me by Octopus. That's a New York Times bestseller. It's quite a slim book, but so much in here that I believe will be supportive for me. So it's Free Yourself from Grand Culture and Reclaim Your Life. So I'm really excited to read this. I'd like to read this year. It's on my list. So yeah, I'm excited for this. So a book that I'm currently reading that I picked up last year from a local esoteric shop is The Light of Sex, and I have always looked at Maria Dinagelska's work because they tend to have her books in, but not understanding, thinking it was strange. You know, I first obviously discovered these when I was looking into sex magic, then seeing them in the shops as well, then, you know, working out that this really was the start, and then thinking that I should definitely look into this for work with Lilith, because there is mention of the biblical mythologies here within, and so I thought this would be good. But essentially this is a particular kind of style of sex magic, and it involves quite a lot of philosophical doctrine, as it were, and yeah, I'm not sure that all of it is of interest to me, to be honest with you, or of relevance, but I'm about halfway through. Certainly different. Will I read more of her work? I'm not sure, but I'm certainly interested in learning more, and I can't give full opinions yet because I'm only halfway through, but this is what I've been reading. So this is certainly an interesting one to delve into if you're interested in sex magic or in working with the Divine Feminine or Lilith potentially as well. I have also been reading Weaving Fate, which I started a few months ago and then got distracted, so I'm continuing this. I will be reading this year. I was recently sent Icelandic Plant Magic, which I am so excited to start, so I took this with me as well. Yeah, I just can't wait. This is ideal for me in terms of ancestry and such. Very, very much speaks to me. And then a book I did start reading when I was away is The Bones Fall in a Spiral, which I was waiting for months for because I pre-ordered it and it just didn't arrive, and then eventually had to cancel my order and go and find another bookseller that was much smaller, ordered it from there and then got it. But it did come out later in the UK, and then it also wasn't available for ages. So, but I'm so glad I got my hands on this, and so far I'm really enjoying this. I highly respect Mortalis. I think their practice is really interesting, and they've got a lot of interesting things to say. Again, not a full review because I haven't read it. I've not read that far into it, to be honest, just first few chapters. So then I picked up some bits while I was there. So the second day we went for some food shopping, and it was just in the Lidl there, and they had some little Barbie dolls, and I couldn't resist when I saw this Barbie doll's face, because she reminded me a little bit of the doll that I have that represents Lilith. But then I realised she also looks quite a bit like when I had the Queen of Sheba come forth to me. I haven't done anything with her so far. I haven't changed her dress or anything, because I'm also quite liking who she is, how she is herself. But she's in my little inner child corner. She was like £3, so she was kind of spur of the moment purchase. So I don't have many dolls these days because I gave a lot of the dolls that I used to collect to my children. But I did have quite a lot of Barbie dolls when I was younger. But then I also, when I was about 17 or 18, I started collecting some of my old dolls, particularly the Disney dolls. So the original Disney dolls that came out when the films came out. So particularly there was the Beauty and the Beast dolls that came out when the movie came out. Those dolls, I had the original dolls because I was little and I wanted the dolls when they came out, so I had them, obviously played with them. So I went on eBay back in the day when I was 18 and got my hands on those original dolls. They were in opened boxes, but they were still in their boxes, and I got them out again. I did the same thing. I couldn't resist getting them out. I got them out again, and as an adult had them around, and I loved them, but those have since now gone to my children. So I am not like an avid doll collector, but it has been something that has sort of come up again and again in my time. And watching Candy Soul and Soil has another channel, Tiny Doll Whispers, and it's just really inspiring. And I do have a doll that I work with that is aligned with Lilith. It's on Lilith's altar and dressed as Lilith, and then I have a doll that represents myself. I work with them together, so that is a really, really lovely thing to have. Also something that you can do if you can't necessarily afford one of these really expensive altarpieces for a deity. If you want to have a visual representation that's personified, you can find a doll that you think looks like it could be them, and you can maybe paint the lips. That this is something that I might do, is paint the lips, obviously get her a new outfit, and especially now because some of the Barbies, they come in so many different sizes and shapes as well. That's a really good way that you could have a deity representation if you can't necessarily afford one of the beautiful wooden sculpted deity statues. That's a way to do it. And of course puppet magic as well, so you can remove the heads and put things in the cavities and take the bodies apart and such. One thing I have actually tried is plaiting my own hair into my poppet version of myself, Barbie doll's hair. And another thing that you can do is you can actually access some of the cavities without taking apart some of the dolls. You just have to see what their anatomy is. If I'm doing anything that is vanishing poppet work, I would use paper or clay or something along those lines. Use paper to create a poppet like that and then burn it, or like a vegetable of some kind or something like that. And for poppets, for me, I have these tiny little dolls that I picked up from like a craft shop years ago. They're little soft dolls, and I like to use those. But yeah, I don't tend to use Barbies, but you can obviously use them if that's something you want to do. But yeah, I don't tend to go that way with it, but of course it's a way that you can work magic. I think it's really valuable. This was just like, you know, it's for my inner child as well. It's not just for the magic. It's, I mean, that is part of the magic, but it is just the being able to do what I'm doing right now, you know, being able to stroke her hair, etc. So this was a little spring gift to myself, and isn't she dressed appropriately? So I'm not sure entirely what I'm going to do with her. I think, to be honest, I'll probably leave her as she is, unless I feel otherwise moved. I had some experiences on the astral a number of years ago with a wolf called Luna. I created a drawing of my wolf. My daughter and I were able to, while we were away, make our own teddy bears, and I made a wolf. So it was really clever. Like, it has like has a voice box. That's my daughter. So within there was a way to stuff the toy, so we stuffed it ourselves, and then there was like a zipper, it zipped it up, and then you've got the voice box on the outside of that along with the Velcro. So I can take the voice box out and I can re-record anything I need to. So I figured the voice box would be really handy to have if I want to utilize the wolf to manifest anything, but at the moment she's just a comfort blanket, to be honest. Yeah, so she's in the inner child corner as well. Yeah, she's absolutely beautiful and I love her. When I was away and I went to town, in addition to getting the box to create an altar with, I also picked up this. This was £3, and this is something I've wanted to read since I think I saw it was available on hardback. I didn't get it then, but this is again New York Times bestselling author Adelyn and Belladonna. Many people have talked about this book and said it's really good, and so I'm just really excited. I don't tend to read a lot of fiction because I always think, oh, I should be reading something else, but I do love fiction, especially these kinds of magical stories, so I'm excited to read this. And then when I went into the Red Cross charity shop, I found a couple of magical pieces. Well, first of all, I found a cardigan from Mango, which was £5, so I picked that up. It was just a white cardigan, which was like nice and baggy, and it's the kind of thing I would always buy. And then I found this. So there were a ton of old books. This is hymns and psalms. I have a little psalm book that my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, left to me, but sometimes I worry about it getting tatty, and it sits on one of my altar spaces. But I figured, like, if I want to take it somewhere, or if I'm going to be getting it out all the time, then I could use something like this. Additionally, because I have that connection to my paternal grandmother, and I know there are certain hymns of hers that were her favourite, etc., there are a ton of hymns in here. So I figured I could utilise it in that way when working with psalms and psalm magic, but also for referencing hymns if I'm doing ancestor work with my grandmother, or even as bibliomancy as well. And so this little green bookmark was in this page here. This was kind of an interesting read for the moment. I also was able to find one of my grandmother's favourite hymns in here as well. And then right at the back you have the psalms. So, and I really liked the way that they were laid out as well, because it's larger text and it's a little bit easier to see than the book that my grandma left me. So fantastic, and it looks wonderful as well. This was £2, so obviously cleaned this off. I do like to wipe down the books when I get them so that they're nice and clean, give it a good cleanse. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. And this is the real find. Obviously doesn't look like a lot. So this is William Lilly's Astrology. So it has at the front, someone Jones has signed it, and it says Where God Is from 1927. So this is an introduction to astrology by William Lilly, with numerous emendations adapted to the improved state of science. Also a grammar of astrology and tables for calculating nativities by Zadkiel. So this is published by G. Bell and Sons Limited in 1927 in London, and I am just thrilled. This was £5. I jumped at the chance to own such a beautiful old book, but also something so interesting and aligned and a classic. This was a real find. I was thrilled. So continues the sojourn into learning about astrology and all of the magic within. This has been an interesting, odd perhaps vlog, but I hope that you've enjoyed it. You know, I hope there was something in here of interest, and if you have any questions at all as well, do feel free to let me know. As I mentioned, I'm offering readings, so if you'd like to get in touch, please do. My information is in the About Me section and down below, and then on Instagram in my link tree you can find my details as well. I'd love to hear from you. Please let me know what you're reading at the moment, what decks you're working with at the moment. If you've gone away anywhere camping recently, or if you're looking to, if you're in England, I can highly recommend where we went to. The staff were just amazing with my daughter and so helpful, especially when we were crafting and making our bears, and she painted pops and stuff as well, so it was really, really beautiful. I loved it. If you have any questions, let me know. I'd love to hear how you are, what you're up to this spring, and how your spring equinox was, or Ostara, however you celebrate. So many spring blessings. Sending you wishes for health and peace and prosperity. I hope you stay well and safe, and I look forward to seeing you again in another video really soon. Take care. Bye.